So the human mind really is kind of like an algorithm. If you think about like computers and computer software, programming is very conditional, right? If this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. And us humans, us psychology, it works pretty much the same way. Sup, this is David. Today I want to talk to you about how the mind is an algorithm. And because it is an algorithm, we can program it the way that we want to. So this is a brief introduction to Neuro Linguistic programming. But how our mind, how the psychology operates is, a lot of it is based on certain rules, certain if-then rules. If this happens, then I will do this. If this shows up in an environment, then I will respond like this, right? And these are what are known as beliefs. And we have created these beliefs more or less, a lot less, out of the conditioning of our environment as we were growing up. So these beliefs, a lot of them are not by our own design. So the beliefs kind of work like this. It's a set of if-then rules. Like if she gets angry at me, then I have to raise my voice, right? If I get a gift, then I become happy. Well, if we can design our own algorithm, if we can design our own set of rules, then why not create the best rules for ourselves so that we can improve, we can grow, we can live a good life, right? And we can, but not a lot of people know this, right? Because not a lot of people are into personal development. But I'm showing you how you can do that right now. So before you start the reprogramming of your mind's algorithm, you kind of have to become aware of this. So awareness, raising your consciousness, that is step number one. All right. And then once you become aware of some of your beliefs that may not be your own, and then that's how you can reprogram it. So it kind of works like this. First, you have to become aware of the patterns that are happening. Like if this happens, then I do this, right? And then you got to create space between the stimulus and the response. So you're going to notice that between the stimulus, there's going to be a space, and then you respond. But a lot of people, we are so wired in a certain way that the response becomes automatic, right? So we have like a stimulus and an automatic respond this way. So we have to interrupt that pattern. And you interrupt that pattern by becoming aware of it and then creating that space. So instead of responding the usual way, you are now pausing. Right? You are interrupting that pattern, and then you are putting a different program in there, putting a different rule into place. And if you do that programming over and over again, then it becomes a new program. So the human mind really is kind of like an algorithm. If you think about like computers and computer software, the program is very conditional, right? If this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. It's a set of instructions in zeros and ones. And us humans, as psychology, it works pretty much the same way. And so if we can learn to program our own mind and our own algorithm, then program the best ones that you can possibly have. So an example is this, like instead of like dwelling, or instead of feeling bad about failures or rejection or anything like that, why not put in a good, better program in there, a better rule, saying, okay, if I fail, as long as I learn from the failure, then it'll be good for me. It'll have a good response, right? You don't have to become angry every time you fail. You can pattern interrupt that and create a different pattern. Say learning equals good, learning equals good, learning equals good. And if you do this over and over again, it becomes automatic pilot. Once you fail, you recognize, okay, what can I learn from this? And so it won't have that negative response anymore. It'll be more positive. So that is a brief introduction to how you can program your own algorithm. That is the brain. This is a very brief introduction to NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And again, in that word is the actual word programming, right? But in fact, the human mind, it's both a programming and also a conditioning. Because once we set the programming, it can't last for a really long time. But you're gonna find that you do need some conditioning. It's like training in the muscle. Once you build up a lot of muscle, it's like you don't have those muscles forever. You have to keep conditioning yourself, right? So the brain is both a programming, but also a conditioning. So you have to do both, right? You have to keep on conditioning your brain to have those good set of rules and to reinforce those good set of rules. So that is it for this video. Hope you found value out of this one. I'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks.